गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् अपारकरुणासिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणं श्रीचन्द्रशेखरेन्द्रगुरुं प्रणमामि मुदान्वहं। सद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। Harihi Om. So in Viveka Chudamani, the Guru is answering all of Shishya's questions. The last question that the Guru answered is how to get rid of bondage. Bondage. What is bondage? Bondage is thinking that we are our body. Bondage is an ignorant perception of our own self. An erroneous perception of our own self is called as bondage. And Acharya said, how to get rid of bondage? If the problem is erroneous perception, then the solution is the right perception. If the problem is turning off the light, you have darkness. Darkness is the problem. What is the cause of the problem? It is absence of the light. So the solution to the darkness problem is just turning on the lights. You don't have to do anything, but just by turning on the light, the problem of darkness goes away. In the same way, the problem of erroneous perception goes away immediately when you have the right perception, that is, I am not my body, but I am Atma. And Acharya says this can be done by discrimination between Atma and Anatma. Atma, Anatma, Vivekaha is the solution for bondage, is the solution for Bandhaha. So Guru said, and even before the Guru said the solution, the Sishya has already asked how to discriminate between Anatma and Atma. So the Sishya does not have to ask any more questions to the Guru. There is already one question left in the 7 questions that Sishya asked. The answer for Katham Vimokshaha is Vivekaha. And Sishya has already asked Tayor Vivekaha Katham. How to discriminate between the Atma and Anatma. The Sishya already has asked, and the Guru is now going to answer that question. And the Guru takes a peculiar way, peculiar methodology of teaching it. He gets his inspiration from the Taittiriya Upanishad. It is also present in other Upanishads, but Taittiriya Upanishad, since it is famous, I'm saying he derives his inspiration from Taittiriya Upanishad. He teaches this concept through Panchakosha Vivekaha. What are Panchakoshas? They are Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. The later more subtle than the former. Annamaya Kosha, the body, the physical body that we have is called as Annamaya Kosha. Pranamaya Kosha, all the physiological processes that happens in my body, my health, all these things comes under Pranamaya Kosha, because the Pancha Pranas is basically Prana, Prana Yashvaha, Apana Yashvaha, Udana Yashvaha. We say Pancha Pranas, they are responsible for maintaining a healthy body. So the Annamaya Kosha does not care about the health. It is basically the physical structure of the body. But Pranamaya Kosha is all the physiological processes that maintains the health of the body. My digestion, it is a prana. My, the blood circulation, it circulates heat throughout the body. There is a prana that is responsible for that process. My excretion faculty, there is a prana that is responsible for that process. So that is called as Pranamaya Kosha. And of course, it is little less grosser than the Annamaya Kosha. And next is Manomaya Kosha. My mind, it is even more subtle. It is even subtler than Pranamaya Kosha, because at least, see, Annamaya Kosha, we don't need any special equipments. Just by opening eyes, we can perceive somebody's Annamaya Kosha without no problem. But Pranamaya Kosha, how do the physiology of the body work? How is a person, how healthy is a person? We cannot tell by just looking at them. You have to do a lot of tests. Even for Pranamaya Kosha, for the health of Pranamaya Kosha, even though we cannot see with our physical eyes, there are a lot of tests available. Cholesterol, there is a test. BP, there is a test. Diabetes, there is a test. For each and every function of our body, even though we cannot perceive them with our own eyes, but there are some indirect way of knowing those things, and that is called as Pranamaya. But the problem for Manomaya is, since it is even more subtle, you cannot know what exists in one's own mind. See, Annamaya, very easy to find. Pranamaya, it is not as obvious, but there is a way. But Manomaya, what is present inside a person's mind? Who can tell? There is no test that can tell absolutely 100% certain what is present in somebody's mind. So Manomaya is even subtler than Pranamaya. And next comes Vijnanamaya, the intellect faculty of a person. Manomaya is the emotional faculty of a person. Vijnanamaya is the questioning faculty. It is the intellect faculty of a person. It is even subtler than Manomaya. And finally, you have Anandamaya. You have the ignorance faculty. We enjoy that Anandamaya Shariram in our deep sleep state. When we are waking up, we enjoy our Annamaya Sharira Pradhana. When we dream, the Annamaya Kosha, the physical body is not there, but Pranamaya, Manomaya and Vijnanamaya, they takes the central turn. They takes the center stage, and in our dream state, we enjoy our prana, we enjoy our manas, and we enjoy our vijnana. But in our deep sleep state, we enjoy the Anandamaya Sharira. That is exactly why next day, when somebody asks you, how did you sleep? We say, I slept very, very peacefully. If you slept without any dreams, we say, I slept very, very peacefully, because we enjoy the Anandamaya Sharira in our deep sleep state. And Adi Shankara is going to say, hey, you previously thought, or maybe you are currently thinking, you are your Annamaya Sharira. And Adi Shankara is going to list the 10 reasons why you are not your body. And next he is going into Pranamaya. Hey, now you know that you are not Annamaya, but you think that you are Pranamaya. And Adi Shankara is going to give 10 reasons or any number of reasons why Pranamaya is not yourself. And then he goes to Manomaya. And then he will say, what is Manomaya? And then he will say why Manomaya is not your original self. And same thing for Vijnanamaya and same thing for Anandamaya. It is like he introduces a topic. He will convince you that this is not your own self. So this is going to be the teaching for the next couple of weeks. So first we are going to see the Annamaya Kosha. What is the Annamaya Kosha? Acharya says, Dehaha ayam Annabhavano Annamayastu Kosha. Koshaha cha Annena Jivati Vinashyati Tadvihinaha. The Annamaya Kosha is the physical body. It is the gross physical body that is made up of Anna. Annamayat, Annamaya, Annabhavanaha, Annabhavanaha, Dehaha, Annabhavanaha. It is made up of the food that we eat. Annam means any food. It does not mean only rice. It means any food. Annamayaha bhavanaha. It is made up of anna. In Sanskritam, the word maya represents a product. I say a gold maya chain. A gold maya chain means that chain is made up of gold. It is called as gold maya chain. Annamaya kosha means the kosha, that avarana, that kosha is made up of annaha. So annamaya kosha. Annena jivati. For the living, for the maintenance of this body, you need rice. You need food. It is made up of food, number one. And for the maintenance of your body, you need food. If we take a car, the car is made up of many metals. But for the maintenance of the car, you don't need all those metals. All you need is petrol and some oil. But in our case, the body is made up of annam. And in order to maintain the body, you need annam. And Acharya says, Vinashyati tad vihinaha, anna vihinaha. If annam is not there, then the body is vinashyati. Then the body gets destroyed. So only when annam is there, the body is there. If annam is not there, then the body is not there. This represents the anityatvam of the body. So Acharya is going to tell 10 reasons why you are not your body. Why Annamaya Sharira is not Atma. The first reason is because the Annamaya Sharira, because the Annamaya Kosha recovers Annam, because it is a product of Annam, it is Anityatvam. Any product is Anitya. Let's say a gold bangle as an example. A gold bangle, it is a product of gold. Gold is a cause and the bangle is product. And there is a date of manufacturing of that gold bangle, isn't it? The gold bangle is manufactured at certain time, at certain place, and after certain years, because you don't like the design, the gold bangle vanishes as well. It becomes another thing as well. So whenever something is a product, it means it is anityatvam. A wave, we go to beach, we nicely see a lot of waves. What is the wave? If we think about it, wave is a product of water. Wave is nothing but water. We can apply the same concept here to waves as well. Wave, it is made up of water. A wave, it is sustained by water. And if water is not there, then the wave is also not there. And how temporary a wave is, we know. Waves are very, very fleeting. So whenever I say something is a product, it means it has got temporary existence. It means it is anitya vastu. So body is anityaha. That's what Acharya wants to say. Body, because it is product of the food, it is product of anna, the body is anityaha and temporary. Whatever is anitya, whatever is temporary, cannot be told as Brahman, cannot be called as Brahman, because the very definition of Brahman is Nityaha. Because the very definition of Atman, because the very definition of Brahman is Nityaha, and because the body is the most Anitya thing that you can ever see, my body is not my own self. That is how you need to derive. Let us see the next line. He says, Tvak, Charma, Mamsa, Rudhira, Asthi, Purisha Rashihi, Nayam, Swayam Bhavitumarhati, Nitya Shuddhaha. What is this physical body made of? It is made up of Tvak, Charma, Tvaku charma means our skin. It is made up of our skin. It is made up of mamsaha. It is made up of muscles, meat. It is made up of rudhiraha. It is made up of blood. It is made up of bones, asthi, and it is also made up of purishaha. Purisha means excretion. So the body, it is made up of all these things, and none of it is pure. If there is a skin that is present in the ground, and when we step on that skin, when we step on the blood, we don't, nobody has to teach us anything, but we normally go wash our legs. Do we do that or not? Because we know that all those things individually, all those things individually is impure, and we have to purify themselves. If our kidney is not working properly, then the blood cannot be purified. Doctors will say, hey, your kidney is not working properly. It is in blood's nature to get impure, and it is the kidney which makes the blood pure. And the doctor will say, if we don't take bath for 2 days, how our charma, how our the physical skin, how we know how it's going to smell. So everything in our body, it is impure. On the other hand, our Atma is Nitya Shuddha. All the Vedanta, all the Upanishad says the Atma is Nitya Shuddha. Here Acharya asks, Nayam Swayam Bhavitu Marhati Nitya Shuddha. If this whole body is impure, how can it be the Nitya Shuddha Atma? It is Bhavitum na arhati. It cannot be the Atma, my real nature. It is for these two reasons. These two reasons, Acharya says in this shloka, it is for these two reasons I am not my body. What are those reasons? Anityatvam, the body needs food to survive, and Ashuddhatvam, the individual components of our body, they all Ashuddha. Because of these two reasons, the Atman, my real self, is not Annaha. It is not this body, says Acharya in that shloka. Now, he is going to enlist 6 more reasons in this shloka. Shloka number 155, he is going to enlist 6 more reasons saying why this physical body is not my real self. Let us see. Purvam janehi adhimruterapi nayamasti jatakshanaha ksanagunaha aniyatasvabhavaha naiko jatascha gadavat paridrishyamanaha swatma katham bhavati bhava vikara vetta. Here he says 6 reasons. First one is called as mithyatvam, meaning it does not have an independent existence. How? He says, Purvam janehe adhimruterapi nayamasti. Purvam janehe, janehe purvam, before being born, this body exists or not? This body does not exist before the date of birth. And after the date of death, mrutehe api ayam na asti. This body, even after death, this body does not exist. So before birth, this body does not exist. And after birth, this body does not exist. It means existence is not an intrinsic property of this body. Now, we have to see what is an intrinsic property and what is an incidental property. There are 2 properties. One is called as intrinsic property and another is called as incidental property. Heat and fire. A heat is the intrinsic property of the fire. You cannot remove heat from the fire. Even intellectually, we cannot conceive of heat without, we cannot conceive of fire without any heat associated with it. So light and heat are the intrinsic properties of the fire. You cannot remove them from the fire. On the other hand, if I take hot water, I have a bowl of hot water in front of me. That hot water is also hot, but that hotness of the hot water, it is not an intrinsic property of water. Why? Because after some times that water is going to be cold. So the hotness of the hot water, it is an incidental property on the water, and it is not an intrinsic property of the water. On the other hand, heat in the fire, it is an intrinsic property of the fire. Okay. So whatever we say, a guna, a sadvastu, existence is not an intrinsic property of the body, because the body does not exist all the time. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu dhruvam janma mritasya cha, says Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Whatever that is born has to die at one point of time. Whatever that dies is being born later. So the intrinsic property of our body is not existence. And in Sanskritam, existence is called as Sat. Existence is called as Sat. Sat means existence. And this body does not have existence as its intrinsic property. And to represent that, we have another word called as mithya. So now we know what is Sat, what is mithya. Sat has got intrinsic existence. Mithya has got dependent existence. And our body, does it have an intrinsic existence or dependent existence? The body has got a dependent existence. The body does not have an intrinsic existence, but the body has to depend upon something for its existence. That is why this body is called as mithya. When Adi Shankaracharya says, Jagan mithya jivo brahmaiva naparaha, Brahma satyam jagan mithya jivo brahmaiva naparaha, we wanted to translate mithya. So people translated mithya as false. People translated mithya as an illusion. That is why all the problems regarding Advaita comes. We think, hey, Advaita, Adi Shankaracharya says, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. He says the entire Jagat is Mithya. And when we translate Mithya as an illusion, when we translate Mithya as something which does not exist, there is a problem, because I see this entire world. I see my body. I see this entire world. How can Shankaracharya say this whole universe is Mithya? No, Mithya can never be translated, but the real meaning of Mithya is temporary existence. That is true. Even scientists accept that this universe has got a date of birth. The universe started its existence from Big Bang, and there is going to be a big crunch after some time where the universe will cease to exist. So mithya, the real meaning of mithya is the one which does not have permanent existence. And our body, we all know, every day we see there is a lot of birth and there is a lot of deaths. So we know that this body does not have an intrinsic and independent existence. That is why this body is called as mithya. Purvam janehe purvam adhimruterapi nayamasti. Before birth, this body did not exist, and after birth, after death, this body is not going to exist. And that is why this body is called as mithya. This body is mithya. This body is mithya. On the other hand, my real nature is satyam. Satyam jnanam anantam brahma. says Taittiriya Upanishad. The nature of Brahman is Satyam. The nature of Brahman is intrinsic existence, is independent existence. But since my body does not have an independent existence, it is Mithya and it can never be Brahman. Purvam janehe adhimruterapi nayamasti. Jata kshanaha, jataha, being born, kshanaha, every second our body is being born. How? If we see, each and every cell in our body is being born in every second. You know, they say once in 14 years, all the cells of our body is being replaced. Each and every moment in time, your blood, some of your blood cells are dying, and you create some of your blood cells. Every muscle in your body dies, and then the muscle in your body is being born. So everything in your body, it is being born at different points of time. Every kshanam, at every moment in time, your body is constantly being born. Jataha kshanaha. And because of that, the body is naikaha, neko. You have to see the first word of the third line here. Naiko, na yekaha. That is why your body is not one. I don't have the same body what I have when I was 1 year old, and I will not have the same body what I currently have now when I am 90 years old. Even physically, all the atoms are being replaced with new atoms. All the cells are being replaced with new cells. Even though our body looks one thing, if we think about it, if we clearly think about it, it is not one body that we have. We get through several layers of our body. Just because some parts of the body change and most parts of the body remains constant at one time, we don't see that change very often. But our body is naikaha. Our body is not only one thing. All these things means the body constantly changes. But I, the observer, I am the same person who was 1 year old. I am the same person who is currently present. I will be the same person after 90 years. The person, the Sakshi Chaitanyam, who operates through the body remains constant, but the body itself changes. That is what he say. Swatma katham bhavati bhava vikara vetta. Bhava vikara vetta. I am that person. Vetta means knower. I am that person who knows all the vikara in my body. I am the person who knows. I am the person who experiences all the changes in my body. How can that person be my body? I am not the body, but I am someone who operates through the body. Jata kshanaha naikaha. And then he says, kshana gunaha. Kshana gunaha means I get new property every moment. Now my body is working good, but in 10 minutes I will be getting a headache. If I keep on sitting for half an hour just for listening to Viveka Chudamani class, my legs are going to be numb. So we get new guna each and every moment of time. Our guna, our properties of the body gets constantly changing. Even if we see, when I test my blood, at some point of time, my sugar level is okay. But when I have a good meal, my sugar level is going to rise. And after I do a lot of exercise, I'm going to have a lot of pain in my body. So each and every kshana, the guna, the properties of the body changes. And whatever that is changing, I am not that, because I am the witness of all those changes. I can never be changing myself. Jata kshanaha, kshana gunaha, aniyata swabhavaha. aniyata svabhavaha. It is ever changing. It is not steady at all. It is ever unsteady. Even when I am walking, I cannot walk steadily with my body because of disproportionate masses that are present in my body. How can that body be the ever witness? So, aniyata svabhavaha naikaha, we have already seen na ekaha, it is not one body, and jadascha, the body is a jadavastu. If we think of our body scientifically, it is made up of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, all those metals. 80% of the body has got oxygen. 10% of the body is made up of carbon. 5% of the body is made up of hydrogen. So if I have 80 grams of oxygen, 10 grams of carbon, 5 grams of hydrogen in a beaker, if I mix it, does that become a sentient in nature? No. Whatever you do, whatever you create, all those things can never be sentient. But my body looks very, very sentient. But I feel very sentient. But if I combine all the elements that the body is made up of, the whole thing can never become sentient. That is why the body is called as Jadavastu. We think the body is sentient, but the body only reflects the sentiency of the Atman that is present inside it. The body is like a mirror that reflects the consciousness of the Atman principle that is present inside the body, that operates through the body, but the body itself, it is Jadavastu because it is made up of the components of the body, they all are Jadavastu. Hence, my body is also Jadavastu. And he says, Ghatavat paridrishyamanaha. Ghatavat, the body is like a pot, says Guru. Why? We know. நந்தவனத்தில் ஒரு ஆண்டி அவன் 4 மாதமாய் குயவனை வேண்டி கொண்டு வந்தான் ஒரு தோண்டி அதை கூத்தாடி கூத்தாடி போட்டுடை தாண்டி. தோண்டி means a pot. Apparently a person. நந்தவனத்தில் ஒரு ஆண்டி அவன் 4 மாதமாய், 4 plus 6 is 10 months. 4 மாதமாய் குயவனை வேண்டி he begged Bhagavan. Why? கொண்டு வந்தான் ஒரு தோண்டி. He got this body which is like a pot. If a person has got a big belly, we say he has got a pot belly, right? So, kondu vandan oru thondi. But alas, that person does not know how to use that body. Body is dharma. Body, dehaha, dharma sadhanam. Sharira madhyam khalu dharma sadhanam, says Shastra. Instead of following dharma, he kutadi kutadi, he destroyed the body because the body is like that pot. So body is often compared to pot. And why he says? Because it is Ghatavat paridrishyamanaha. If some person has put a pot in front of you, you don't need anyone to show you that it is pot. You might need someone to tell you that it is pot, but you know that something exists. If a pot is present in front of you, you know that that exists. You might not know the name of the pot. You might not know that that object is called pot, but that something exists that you know. In the same way, we feel our body. We experience our body without help of anybody else. Even for a kid, you don't need to teach the kid that, hey, this is your body. You need to experience your body. All those things you don't need to teach the kid. The body swataha, without anybody's help, it experiences its body. But the body, the real Atman is the experiencer. That's why he asks, Swatma katham bhavati bhava vikara vetta. Swatma is bhava vikara vetta. My real nature, my Atman nature is the witness consciousness that experience this body which has got all these problems. Then how can my Atman nature be the very body itself, says Acharya. So in this shloka, Acharya has pointed out 6 more problems of the body. He says the body is mithya. The body does not have permanent existence. The body is sagunaha. The body has got kshanaguna. The body has got lot of gunas. The body is asthiraha. It is not steady. The body is anekaha. There is no one body. Even within one life, we experience through several different bodies. The body is jadaha. It does not have consciousness of its own. And the body is drishyaha. The body is something which can be witnessed. So because of all these reasons, the body is not my own self. My real nature is something which is much more than this body. I operate through the body. I understand, but I am not the body. We need to have this bhava very, 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 very clearly. Here we have to note one thing. Acharya is saying all these things does not mean you have to neglect our body. Acharya says, hey, you are not this body, you are not this body because of all these reasons. You cannot start abusing this body. This body is the greatest gift that has been given by Bhagavan. Shariram adhyam khalu dharma sadhanam. This body is a tool for me to perform dharma. Here, my laptop is a tool for me to do my day-to-day business. Just because I am not this laptop, I cannot keep on abusing the laptop. I cannot destroy my laptop. I need to give laptop its due importance. I just cannot give over importance to my laptop. In the same way, just because my body is not my real nature, I am not my body, does not grant anyone any license to either abuse this body or to misuse this body. This body is given to us by Bhagavan. Shariram adhyam khalu dharma sadhanam. We have to take care of this body. What we should not do, just don't give over importance to the body. If the body is suffering a little bit, it is okay, let it suffer. But if it is suffering a lot, if it is preventing you to perform dharma, then you have to go get it fixed. That is why even in Deivathin Kural, Mahaperiyava says, all those vratams that we have, Shivaratri, you don't sleep for one night. That is okay. It is going to give you slight discomfort, but that is fine. This is your body. You can do that. Don't give over importance to the body. I want to eat something. I cannot have that. That is fine. For one day, if you don't have food, you are not going to die. The body has got Bhagavan's creation. This body has got all the mechanisms to cope up with all those things. But only if you put your body through all those ordeals, you will get to understand that you are not your body, says Mahaperiyava in Deivathin Kural. That's what we saw in the last Deivathin Kural session as well. So we have to be very, very clear. We are doing the dosha darshanam of the body. We are finding out problems with our body, but we have to be clear that all those things says, I am not my body. It does not grant me any license to neglect either my body or to neglect somebody else's body. If they are sick, please go to hospital. Just because you are not your body does not give you any license to neglect your body. With this, we will finish today's class. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.